how we create a pain report strategy. So you're saying you haven't actually finished your reports yet. When you have finished your reports, I'm going to show you the exact process that we go through, or that people go through in our physio rooms business once they've opted in for some kind of free report.
Yeah, we just happen to be a baby business with
That's
baby
okay.
systems, which is good, but it's also we don't have anything to link to existing. We're creating everything from the beginning.
That's okay. That's completely fine. So obviously we're going to go ahead and go to create my own campaign. Actually, I'll tell you what I'll do before that, just so that it speeds up the process a little bit. Just let me go ahead. Was it this one I just created? I feel like it might have been, just so I don't confuse myself. What is the most frequent pain report or objection you see?
Like what makes people come to see me?
Mm-hmm.
Or
Is it
like,
back pain? So
well,
downstairs, the most common pain is back pain.
okay.
So what's
So mine
yours?
would be like bladder problems or like pelvic floor issues in pregnancy.
Okay, so I will call this campaign pelvic health.
Okay.
And I'll put PG beside it, just so you know this is the one we started for you, in case you create one in the future and you get confused between the two, because that happens a lot.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do real quickly is I'm going to create a category for you called pelvic health.
Okay. I'm so glad you're recording this.
Okay. Do you not know how to create categories? So you simply create categories and tags. We go to CRM and settings.
Yeah,
And it's just right there.
I think I've created one or two before.
Okay, we go ahead and hit save.
Okay.
If we want to add specific tags to that category, we just go to the tag one, go to add tag. I'm going to go ahead and select that category I've just created called pelvic health. And the tags I'm going to create for you right now are the ones right there. So I'm going to create a Facebook one. See, I've done this before. A Google one. Website one. And for some reason, I've not been specific enough before, but that's why I'm typing this. I'm going to do a newspaper ad one. Are those, do you use those? Is there any other marketing strategy you use that you would like me to add there? So this could be something like Instagram
word of
ad.
mouth is kind of where I get it, or like medical referrals are the other two that I see the most. Yeah, referrals.
Happy with that?
That's great.
Okay. So now you'll see there's a pelvic health category created, and there's these different resource tags applied. So this is where we can get really specific with where that person's come from. So if they're interested in pelvic health, wherever they come from, not only does that help you know where they are in their patient journey with you, but that also helps you know what's working. So is the website getting leads? Is your Facebook ads getting leads? Google ads, newspaper ads? If you want to go ahead and add a community event tag to that as well, referrals, word of mouth, that's why we do that.
Okay.
And with regards to the actual campaign, the reason I did that first is because in our campaigns, we're going to go ahead and we're going to apply some tags to people that come into the sequence. I'll just go ahead real quickly. So we're actually going to begin with, do you use lead pages?
No, not yet, but I might.
That's okay. That's okay. A lot of people, when it comes to the first time, don't. We recommend you do. The reason for that being, lead pages is a landing page web form software. So it optimizes that experience. You can do landing pages through Infusionsoft, but this is a CRM. So it's not optimized in that department, whereas lead pages is. We use lead pages downstairs. So I'd recommend you maybe check that out. But because we don't, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to drag over 4 web forms here. These will be front-facing web forms. What that means is different to what we've gone through in previous videos, is that we've had a lot of web forms that only you or your staff fill in. These web forms are actually going to be filled in by leads.
Okay.
This is just how. Yes. So different ones. So this is a website, for example. This will be the Facebook one. If there's a Facebook ad you have for pelvic health and they've gone ahead and filled in the landing page that they've gone from that ad, this would be what it would be right here.
Okay.
The same with Google.
And like I know you're doing pelvic health, but if we break it down into even like more, like you know how you have like back or knee or hip or that kind of stuff pain, we would have like bladder, bowel, like
Yep.
sexual dysfunction.
You can call it whatever you want. This is just because I really don't know what entails pelvic health,
Maybe
and
for the
that's why it's very general right now. So you can go in here and just change where it says pelvic health and be very specific
Okay.
with what they are. The
Right.
same
Different,
with
like
it.
a bladder campaign or a bowel
Yeah,
campaign.
yeah.
Different.
The same with the category. So I just created a pelvic health category. We
Okay.
recommend if you go ahead and you create a bowel campaign or an intercourse discomfort campaign, anything like that, you can then create. We recommend you create a category for each of those.
Okay.
So every
Got it.
campaign you have, we recommend you create a category for the tags that are applied in that, so you can be very specific with who's gone through what campaign for when they've come out the other end of that campaign.
So where they came from is the tag within the category, and the dysfunction is the category.
Yes.
Okay. Beautiful.
So all of these web forms are going to go to an identical sequence, but they're going to go to individual sequences. I'll explain why that is in a second. So you might have thought that all these web forms will go to maybe one sequence, but they don't, and that's because we apply different tags to the relevant sequence, but the actual entails of the sequence are identical. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So simply put, I may have said that a bit in a bit of a confusing way, but simply put, when they go into the sequence, they will all have the new lead tag applied. But then the only reason that they don't go into the same sequence is they have the other tag, which is specific applied. So the one I just created. So for example, in this one right here, we're going to apply two tags to this person. And these two tags are going to be firstly, the tag that I just created, well, not created, sorry, but applied to your statistic on the front page is the prospect tag new lead.
Mm-hmm.
And then also the pelvic health tag website, because this person has come from the website form.
Okay.
So those two tags will be applied to any contact that fills in that front end web form.
Okay.
And then what we're also going to do is we're going to create a task once these two tags have been applied. Now within that task, there is going to be nothing right now, and the reason for that is because I haven't done anything on the web form. That's effectively what you pay for if you were to get us to create these campaigns for you, is the content on the web form, and then also the content in the emails I'm going to talk about in a second. But basically, what we do when we create this is we create a task for you to call this person back because they are a warm lead as soon as they have opted in for a pelvic health report in this example. And what you would then do is you'd go ahead, make this critical, and assign yourself as receiving the notification, and the task would automatically be created for you. Now, it's not going to let me draft this because I haven't titled it. The reason I haven't titled it is because the web form, nothing has been done to it yet, so I can't merge the details from that over. But all you would need to do when you come to create this, if you do it alone, is you would just need to merge the title of what you've created in that web form, and then merge some of the body as well. So what you want to know on that first call. A cheek hack is any task we've created for you in other campaigns, just simply copy that. So it would be something like in this body, it would be the person's name, the main reason that they wanted to opt in for the report, the questions you ask on that web form, a front-facing web form, merge them over here. So all the details are automatically there for you to follow up and call this person.
Okay.
But that is basically, that sequence would then be duplicated. I'm just going to name this tag and task. I'm just going to quickly go ahead and do that again for each person. For each sequence, sorry, the only difference will simply be in this apply tag right here. We're not going to apply the website one because this isn't from website. This person's come from Facebook, I think. Can't actually remember. If they haven't, I'll change that. And we're going to apply the new lead tag as well. Those two tags are applied. Again, they go into a task. I'll let you play around with the task.
Okay.
That one was Facebook, thankfully. I got that right. I'm just going to quickly go ahead and repeat that for this one right here, but with Google. Make sure apply has been hit. And the same with prospect tag new lead. Again, a task. Any questions on any of this?
Not yet. I'm sure I will in a week.
It's okay.
So these things that you're building, are they going to dead end in the tag and task?
No, there is another sequence they go into. because obviously they have to go into another sequence. The reason for this is if this person has filled in this is why you can't make this live yet. If this person has filled in this, they've obviously opted into a free report. So we don't want them to just dead end in the campaign without us giving them the free report. So that is what we, this one's the newspaper one, I believe. That is what we need to go ahead and do in the next sequence. Now, again, this next sequence is completely up to yourself, but I'm going to show you what we do in the Physio Rooms business. So basically, all of these now go to the same sequence. And that same sequence, this is where the real value is if you were to purchase a pain point campaign. In our back pain sequence, for example, Paul has 15 emails in this sequence right here. And the reason for that is this is a very warm lead because this is someone that has gone ahead and taken action on one of your ads or on your website. So they are a warm lead. They have not only searched, they might not have only come across you, they could have specifically searched for you. So this is a very warm lead. Now, it's completely up to you how many emails you send. Just in the back pain one as an example, we send 15. And all it is just a steady dose every 3 days. Paul sends another email, just asking this person about why they signed up, telling them about what you provide, how you can help them, this, that, and the other, with lots of calls of action in there, mobile number, phone numbers, email addresses, your website again, just constantly remaining in front of this person. And it's different to our other campaigns. So in other ones we've created for you, like the past patient one, you'll see that we send one every 30 days. That's because that person's a past patient, they're relatively cold. This person is really warm, which is why we're sending them one every 3 days. Now you can play around with that timer. You can make it every 2 days if you wanted to. I definitely wouldn't recommend making it every 24 hours, but you could change it 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, whatever you want to do, whatever suits. Just from trial and error, this is simply what we found works the best in the Paul Gough Physio Rooms, is every 3 days we drop them another email, with the exception of the first 2 emails. So the very first email we want to send them is, of course, the report, because they've opted in for a report. So if we don't send them the report immediately, it's pretty much an end result, because that person's going to be ticked off at the fact that they haven't got what they signed up for, and now all of a sudden you're selling to them. So it's crucial that you make sure that you give them the report before you do any kind of soft sell. So within this first email, we basically, do you know how to link within an email? Yes?
Yeah.
Okay, so we use the simple text one, and within this, just for example, say this first part right here, customize, would go ahead, hit the link button, file download, and we would upload the free report here, which needs to be somewhere on your desktop if you're going to do that.
Okay.
We recommend it's a PDF file, so it can't be edited, and then that is going to be the first email. You play around with the body. Again, this is where the worth is. If you were to buy this, that would all be written for you, like in previous campaigns. But just make sure if you do it alone that you absolutely put the report in that first one. Okay. And what we do in the Physio Rooms is we have a 4-hour delay. Again, this is what I said. This is the only one that is different and isn't 3 days. We have a 4-hour delay. Again, you can play around with the time on any day and at any time. So exactly 4 hours after they've received the report, they're going to receive another email, and we call this the problem email. And you can play around with what you want to do with that, what you want to put in there. But basically what Paul does and what we do in the Physio Rooms is we ask them why they opted in for the report. Not simply one question. You can play around with one question. I know 9-word emails work. But in Paul's one, he simply just asks, I see you've opted in for more information on pelvic health. Let me know why. There could be a nearby location, that we can help you with. Here's a little bit more about us. And that's all we simply do. The rest of the emails are completely up to you. This is where we put a 3-day timer after that email, at any day and at any time just after they've opted in. Or you could play around with it. You could have it on a specific time, but this is just how we do it in the Physio Rooms. After that timer, they're going to receive another email. For the sake of it, I'm just going to call this email 3. And we repeat that exact same process 15 times. So there's 15 total emails within this. The content of the emails is completely up to yourself. Paul writes lots of calls to actions in there, and it's just basically to remain in front of this person because they are a warm lead.
Okay.
And the idea behind it is by call 15, if they, have not reached out, become a live patient, inquired about a discovery visit or an evaluation, the idea behind it is they're not interested. If it takes you 15 emails with a 3-day gap between each one, so you're talking about 2 months to still not make a decision, you're not for us. At least call us. You're not for us. So they would just drop off. We would still have that contact within our system, obviously to go back to, and we could put them into another campaign. But as of right now, from opting to report, we only send them 15 emails after the first 2. Well, actually, it's 13, so it's 15 all included. So it's 15 including those 2. So we send them 13 after this stage, which is why that's email 3.
Okay.
And then we remain in front of them every 3 days. And if they still haven't decided, then we no longer reach out to them. What happens in 99.9% of cases is either that person has opted out by email 15 or they've given us a call. Very
Okay.
rare is that not the case. And if they've opted out, obviously, as I think we've spoken about in the past, we're no longer interested in that person. If they haven't opted out, they've given you a ring. That is usually what happens in that example. That's why we build many emails.
So that will dead end there. You don't have to have, if they finish that sequence and nothing happens, you don't have to apply another tag.
So this is the only difference. We're going to end this with a tag goal.
Okay.
And remember what I said about a tag goal? A tag goal, so if there's ever a tag you see in a sequence, at the end of a sequence with nothing after it, that's called a tag end goal. And what that means is whenever that tag is applied throughout any part of this sequence, so they could be at the very beginning, if this tag is applied, they're removed from that sequence immediately. And the tag that we're going to put there is the live patient tag. So the only thing you would have to manually do in this process is if after they have opted in, and what's the patient status live patient tag, after they have opted in or called you, made some kind of appointment, we're going to go ahead and apply this tag to their contact. And as soon as that tag is applied to that contact, they will be removed from the sequence. So they will not receive the 15 emails. They could sign up at email 14 or 15, or they could sign up at email 3, and they will be removed from that sequence regardless of where it is, so long as this tag is applied. So that's the only manual thing you would have to do, is as soon as that person gives you a call, which you should have record of anyway, of course, because you've had a call with the person or they've asked for some kind of treatment, you're going to go ahead, apply this tag, and they will be removed from that sequence.